Hi, I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from FinancialJuneteenth.com, and I wanted to share a story from something that happened not too long ago. It actually happened tonight, and as you know, I like to share thoughts as they come to me in hopes that they will help other people. I was talking to a woman who basically said something to me like, she said, you know, it took a lot of courage for you to just leave your job and just go off and work for yourself. And she said, I admire that. And I thought about what she said, and I said, well, you know, I don't know if there's really that much to admire for a couple reasons. One, and not to say that it didn't, scare the hell out of me, and that I didn't have some reservations to overcome. I believe a lot of quote unquote courage is about, it's not about not feeling fear. It's really about feeling the fear and doing it anyway. It's okay to feel fear, but don't you let fear stop you from reaching your destiny. You can't do that. You can't live a life based on fear, because that's not a life. That is the manifestation of a spiritual death, because basically your fear murders every dream that you have, murders every ambition. It murders a part of who you are, and an even bigger part of who you're meant to be. A lot of who you are is based on what you do, what you're doing, and what you're becoming, right? So every time you let fear stop you from reaching your destiny, you're literally killing a part of who you are. So when I say spiritual death, I really mean spiritual death. But going back to what the woman said, I didn't feel like I was particularly courageous. I felt like there's this thing. We talk in finance all the time. I taught finance at a lot of different universities, and we always talk about risk. And risk itself is not a good thing or a bad thing. It's just a thing. It's a thing that has factors and variables and all these things. And there's such a thing as an uncalculated risk and a calculated risk. You probably know what I'm talking about. Basically, there's situations where you take a chance because you know you got a chance to make things work for yourself. And there are times when you take a chance and all you're doing, you're living on a hope and a prayer. The latter case is where you're taking unnecessary risk. The first case is where you're taking an efficient risk. So one of the things that I truly believe is that when you're talking about trying to get the most out of your life, because every day you're making decisions, you're making investments, you're doing things like that. You're investing your time and your energy, your love, not just money, but you're always investing in something. You're always taking a risk. And there are ways to minimize the amount of risk that you take. So as the woman told me that I was courageous, I really thought about that. And I said, I'm not really that courageous. I said, because I did take a risk, yes, but there are ways that I minimized that risk before I took the plunge. I didn't just say, Lordy B, this is going to work out. I'm going to make it happen no matter what. I didn't do that. I did a couple of things, and I'll share this with you. I spent several years planning my escape from the corporate plantation. In my case, it wasn't a corporation, it was my university, where I was dealing with this racism and unfair treatment and job discrimination that so many of us deal with every day. And I said, I got to get out of here. So I had a plan. I started building my business years before I left. Years before I left, I started figuring out, okay, once I get off of this ship, how am I going to build a lifeboat that can save me economically and protect my economic life? So I spent a lot of time thinking about the structure of my lifeboat. I invested heavily in the lifeboat. When other people were investing in cars and houses and fancy stuff and clothes and just stuff they didn't need, I was shoveling my money into my business. I was using my job to fund my dream. And so I was building something, I was learning and making mistakes while I still had the cushion of a job behind me to protect me in case my decisions went bad. The other thing that I did was I also was saving money. Saving money through my retirement account, also through my savings and investment account, stuff like that. Just a little bit of money every month, making sure I was stacking my chips so that when the heat got too hot, I wasn't going to burn up in the frying pan. And so what I did tell the woman is, I said, even though I did take a risk, the risk was minimized due to the fact that I did things to prepare myself for the journey that I was about to go on. So what I say to you is that as a person of color, you might not be black, but I'm talking about black people right now. If you're not black and you love the channel, you're invited to be here. I love you too, but I'm here for black people, and I can't apologize for that. If you're an African American, you probably have dreamt about getting off the corporate plantation. You've probably wondered if you're supposed to spend your whole life working for a white man. The answer is absolutely not. You're supposed to leave the plantation. And what you do in this generation will affect your children, your children's children, and your children's children's children. I promise you it will. Rather than thinking of it as something that you have to muster the courage to do, think of it as something where you can take calculated risks to minimize the amount of risk that you have to take, so that your decision has a greater likelihood of being successful. So I'm not here to say I did everything right. I screwed up a lot. I made a lot of mistakes. Some mistakes were very expensive, but that's kind of the cost you pay to learn things. Just like you pay money, you pay tuition to go to school. Sometimes in life, you got to pay tuition to learn things. And I paid a lot of tuition, more than my share, I'd say. But the decision was one of the best decisions I ever made. And there's nothing like waking up every day knowing that I'm a free black man and that I can be who I want to be, and I don't have to apologize, and I don't have to walk around in fear of other people, of racism. So that's all I really want to share with you. These are the kinds of things we're going to talk about in my Black Wealth Bootcamp. We have a new session coming up very, very soon, the next few weeks. I hope you'll join us. It's not free, but it doesn't cost the thousands that it would have cost you to take my class at Syracuse. But it does have a cost to it. I think they have a special going on right now, so you might want to go check it out. You can find out more at theblackwwealthbootcamp.com. That's theblackwwealthbootcamp.com. So until we meet again, I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Financial Juneteenth. Stay strong, be blessed, and be educated. I am gone. Peace.